setup. The funny part is I've been playing Nerfs yesterday so much. Alright, so I had requests for a clown video and a Legion video. I apologize if these videos took so long. The only way I really can check my comments, because I don't really check my comments on any of my videos, is through my email, where my email will send me this little notification from YouTube that says, you have a comment on a video. So, thank you very much for the suggestion. I hope you're happy with this, but today we are doing a clown and a Legion build. I'm not really talking about like how the clown works so much, as more a couple of build ideas. So you have to bear with me if I'm a bit slower. As always, we're gonna kill your friends. So start off with, that's not helpful. I can take that off. I guess I can run that, but that's not really as helpful. That's a staple right there. Yeah, let's take those off. That's a good one in case we get bailed out. Always another good one. And then the last part of the build would be around. I can't remember where the other perk is. Is it a green one? Yes, it is. It is a green one. Damn it. That could be useful. Alright, so we'll talk about that in a sec. Offering. Add-on. So this is the general build that you want to run on Clown. If you want to go for a no camping, no tunneling type of build, this is what I like to call the no hook build. You will not get a lot of blood points out of this, and it will absolutely piss off all of the survivors in game. But basically, if the survivor is not running Unbreakable or No Misser, they are not going to be able to counter this at all. If they are running No Misser, it's like the only counter to you. So if you ever want to know, well, what build does No Misser actually counter? It's this one. So this is a slug build, and I think it works best on the Clown. I personally think Coldwind Farm is the best map for this, so this is what I would recommend that you do. Now, you can actually flex out Noed for another perk if you want, but we'll talk about the rest. So you have Knockout, where dying survivors' auras are not revealed to other survivors that are outside of a certain range, so they can't come in and make the save. Franklin's Demise, which causes them to drop their item, which makes it so that if they do get up, they can't really do anything about it. It also knocks out insta-heal medkits, stuff like that, so it really makes it so that the survivor... excuse me. If they get down, they stay down. Ruin, just to slow the game down enough for you. And then where we have our last pick is going to be between Noed or Deerstalker. Now, Deerstalker is the one where it reveals dying survivors' auras to you when standing within a certain range. I personally don't feel like I need that. I don't really have a problem finding dead survivors. Like, I follow blood trails, and I listen to them sitting there moaning their damn brains out. It's not a problem, really, on that. So, Deerstalker, it works better with the build, but not necessarily. I personally, if I'm running Hex Ruin, I generally like to run a second Hex, because that way there, if they find one Hex totem, then they don't necessarily find the other Hex. If they find Noed, then they don't find Hex Ruin. And if they find Hex Ruin, then they don't find Noed. This also works very well with Noed works well in this build, just because of the fact you can kind of like down somebody, if they do manage to let's say they get rid of the ruin and you don't have enough time or anything, you can just knock everybody down. So the way this build works is you are not going to be hooking anyone. You're not going to be picking anybody up. You're not going to be doing anything like that. And with his power, so you already know what the clown does, hopefully, where you throw the bottle and the bottle breaks and it causes a little cloud where, you know, you can't really move that well. You can't move that well, you can't see that well, you know, it reveals you, stuff like that. All that stuff. And then you have the little bottles that you throw. Now, my aim is horrible on the bottles for whatever reason. I don't know why my aim is so bad. Like, I have fantastic aim on Huntress, but I have horrible aim on Clown. The add-ons that you're going to bring is survivors hit directly by the bottles suffer from exposed, and you start with 2 extra bottles. So that to me is a good one. The cheap gin bottles always a very strong add-on. And then the Redhead's Pinky Picker is fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic because of the fact that you can basically just... If you can sneak up on a survivor and you can chuck a bottle on them, I would make an argument for Insidious over Noed and Deerstalker, but realistically for the build, that's what you want to go with. Now, I'm going to switch characters and then come back, just to try and reset everything. I have a second clown build that I'm going to throw in here as well. Now, this is an interesting type of clown build. Everybody knows about, like, Max Volt Clown. But I'm going to start with an interesting one today. It doesn't really matter what add-on I put on. This is an interesting build that I like to run as well, that I like to call, it's a mobility type of build. Boozle. Could put Iron Grasp on here, but I don't think it's going to fire up on. Not a fan of save the best for last. Could do Poser Food. Poser Food is strong. There's one more big mobility one I can try. So this is a sort of a mobility clown type build, which is like weird. Alright, so this is your mobility clown build. I would probably say this works best on Haddonfield, believe it or not. So I'll put the Haddonfield offering on just to show it off. This is what you're going to be going for generically. So the first part of the build, you've got your VHS porn add-on. That's literally something I didn't think I was going to be saying. So this increases your movement speed while reloading the tonic. So it makes it so that when you're reloading, normally you're a lot slower. This lets you keep that mobility. You have your cheap gin bottle. Again, that's always a solid thing to run on the clown. You can never go wrong with that. But your build is rather interesting. So your build is actually not going to be focused upon actually slowing down the generators. Your build is going to be focused about rushing them. You're going to be moving around very quickly. And it's an interesting style of build. So we have Bamboozle, so you vault faster, and you block vault locations so that you can end chases quicker. You have Play with Your Food, which is the obsession one, where this basically, you want to get into a chase with the obsession and hope the obsession leads you to another survivor and let them go. And that lets you generate some more base movement speed. Agitation, where once you do have someone, once you use that base movement speed to get to get after a survivor and hit you. Because if I remember correctly, the clown does have 115 movement speed. Yeah, that should be 115 movement speed. So the clown is actually better suited for a movement speed. And then we have Fire Up. I actually like Fire Up on this build because you're not going to be running Hex Ruin on a build like this for mobility. So you want to have something on the build that makes it a lot harder on the survivors. But you can't really make it harder on the survivors with Fire Up. But what Fire Up does is it makes you stronger, which makes them harder. Just having that increased attack speed bonus, or the action speed bonus, sorry, picking up survivors, dropping survivors, pallet breaking, generator breaking, vaults. I mean, the fact that you can stack more on vaults, you really aren't afraid of a vault. I mean, if you let 4 gens get done, you're gonna have almost 30% faster vaulting speed. You would actually vault a window faster than the survivor does on this build. So this is definitely a good mobility type of build if you're interested on the clown. I'm only going to show off those 2 builds on clown today, and I have the Legion one for you in just a sec.